All right, Shalom, Israel. Once again, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory forever and ever to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who continue to rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000. Lord willing, this lesson will be as edifying as I can make it and as brief as I can make it. And the title of this will be "The World is Yours and More." The world is yours and more. All right. And just, I was meditating on things. My last lesson has yet to load up, but it's Lord willing, it having like Wi-Fi issues, but Lord willing, it'll load up soon. But it's all the spirit, because the title of that lesson was "To Be Lost in Life is a Condition of Hell." And I was basically getting into, how great and words can't even explain how great the kingdom of heaven truly will be, which will be on earth, but will be expanded, will be extended into the universe, the heavens, all right, outer space, the different planets and galaxies, all right. And they say that the universe is constantly growing, making more galaxies, more planets, more space. And so it's not impossible to believe that the kingdom of heaven will be an everlasting rulership, an everlasting kingdom, immortality granted to the elect of the nation of Israel, all of the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. All right, everlasting life is believable, or it doesn't seem far-fetched. The truth is stranger than fiction, but it's the only happily ever after non-fiction. All right. And so yesterday I reposted this testimony of the beloved brother Ra'ah Moth, which his page is Ra'ah Mothbah, all right, and entitled "Vision/Dream I Got Beamed Up into a Chariot, plush, I forget the rest, which is very beautiful, a very beautiful testimony, because you have to have that vision. The Lord gave us the eyesight to be able to see what others can't see, and because of this gross darkness engulfing this world ruled by Esau, Edom, the nation of so-called white man. All right, they're ruling of this earth in wickedness, but the elect have been given a vision. Have been given the ability to see through the dark like an owl. All right, and through the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah and the Holy Spirit. And so, as the brother was speaking, I envisioned what he saw, and again, our imagination can only do us but so much justice. It can't. And I'm gonna just grab the scripts. I ain't gonna ramble on and on, but I'm just it's just beautiful, seeing the times that we're living. We know that we're so close to the end because you got all these prophecies lined up, the scriptures is jumping off of the pages. We're at the bitter end. We can see that we're at the bitter end of this thing, and part of that being testimonies like this, your faith being boosted to be comforted and knowing just how close we are, so much that you can see it, you can spiritually taste it, you can grab it, it's right there, right? And so that was posted yesterday, and this was posted today. Was this today? I believe this was posted today. What's today? No, this was posted 2 days ago. Salakia. But I saw it today. All right, so it's still all the spirit, right? Because I think this was the first video that I wound up watching today, and the title of this is "Where's My Husband?" A foreshadowing of Isaiah 4:1 at camp. All right, and it all goes with what's been in my spirit, these past couple of days, what I've been meditating on, and so, oh God, Salakia. Somebody call me. It's always something. So fair use. I want to begin this lesson here. This is for educational purposes only. All right. I'm not making any money off it.
Look, Simba. Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Wow.
A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
And this'll all be mine?
Everything.
Everything the light touches. What about that shadowy place?
That's beyond our borders. You must never go there, Simba.
But I thought a king can do whatever he wants.
Oh, there's more to being king than getting your way all the time.
There's more?
Simba.
All right, so there you have it, right? And that's what this lesson is based upon, like in that movie The Lion King. That's a very spiritual movie, especially for me, a very heavy movie for me in the spirit, because lions was a symbol that the Lord heavily put into my spirit that led me to the truth, and and it's been put in my spirit ever since a youth. When I saw the Lion King movie, I would get these goosebumps in certain scenes, like the "Remember Who You Are," that prolific classic scene. It was something about that, my father not being around in my life, not knowing what I'm missing in my life by my father not being around. But knowing in my spirit that something was missing, or rather should I say something was there that I couldn't see, that I was unaware of at the time. And And so, this scene, it's a very good movie, through the spirit, for your children. It's a lot for your children to watch, especially your boys. But in the scene that I just showed, right, Mufasa shows Simba, his son, his inheritance, and he said everything the light touches is our kingdom. That which everything the light touches was everything that he could see. The only thing that was off limits was what Simba referred to as the shadowy place, and that's likened unto, it's all spiritual, because that the only place that of the kingdom of heaven that would be off limits will be America, Babylon the Great, after it's destroyed by thermonuclear destruction, by the judgment of the Lord, in the end of World War III. All right, Armageddon, the end of this world of wickedness, this age of these heathens and the wicked ruling the earth. But Mufasa said that a king's time basically comes and goes. It said his time will go down like the sun, if I'm not mistaken. But the rulership of the nation of Israel, all right, through Yahweh Shema Shai, will be everlasting, unchallenged. Simba he got caught in between a rivalry between Scar and Mufasa, and his inheritance, his right to rule was challenged. Scar was trying to trick him out of his spot. And the scriptures say, "Let no man take thy crown," because only this is the time where the Israelites rulership. This is the only time where the nation I'm trying to put it to words. This is the only time where the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, their position, their seat, right, in the kingdom of heaven as the first fruits, the first ones drafted in, can be threatened. All right, their rulership, because 2/3 are not going to make it, and only the 1/3, beginning with 144,000, are going to overcome, the threat of their crown, their rulership position being taken. But once the elect are delivered, are beamed up, once the Lord makes it known clearly who are his chosen, by physically saving the remnant, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, from the end of this world, the judgment of the Lord, that great fiery destruction, their rulership, their position of power will never be threatened ever again. So the brother went into, which, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you go watch it. It's definitely a faith booster. I've had dreams of chariots, very vivid, but I've never been taken up, which Lord willing, that's we all have our different lots. Lord willing, I will be beamed up, but it may not be for me to be given that type of vision. I may it's of everything is of the Lord's will, and it might not be good for me. But I've definitely I've had dreams of the bombs going off, like the brother said he saw, and so I could just imagine what the brother saw, and it was beautiful. He said he was beamed up. It was he had a space of his own, right, which he went into the word chariot, and got into the chambers, and he went into how beautiful it was and how you could see out of the he could see the destruction taking place, and he said his woman and a couple children were there, and he said though he believed it was like symbolic, he asked the angel how long it's been. He said 20 years, and it was just beautiful. But I can't remember if it was before or after. I think it was after. I was talking. Well, I forget exactly what I was doing, but I had one of my children had a map that I didn't know. I noticed it. They had a map. It looked like a game board. It was a decent size. It was a map, but it was of the world today. It was supposed to be, right? But it was like in a different time period, and it didn't show the time period. And I wish I should have took a picture of it. But anyways, I went into when I was looking at it, the spirit hit me, and what jumped into my mind was that Young Jeezy song. Even though he a nigga in his wickedness lest he repent. He had a song that goes part of it goes, the world is yours and everything in it. It's out there. Get on your grind and get it, right? And so that popped up in my mind, just thinking about, because you focus on the works and fighting the good fight of faith so much that, I know me, I don't always, it's I don't often think about just how great everything that the nation of Israel is about to inherit. Part of that is the earth, and everything that you can see and don't see. And so then this video the brother GMS Atlanta Devout Servant 2459, Shalom to both Ra'ah Moth, which I met that brother. I had the pleasure of getting to meet that brother. He has a very beautiful spirit. I haven't it wasn't a lot of time that I spent with him, but the little bit of time that I did that I was around him, I believe he's sincere, Lord willing. He's a true man of the Lord. But this brother GMS Atlanta Devout. Shalom to you. Shalom to both of you brothers. If you watching this, if you hear this, and it all goes together. Because the brother went into the testimony of how there was a woman that basically attempted to choose him. And so I suggest you watch this. Another faith booster. And going back to that Jeezy shit, right? The world is yours and everything in it is out there. Get on your grind and get it. He said, hands in the air, sky's the limit, nigga. Hands in the air, right? Then he say, the world is yours and every bitch in it. It's out there. Get on your grind and get it, right? And so, even though that's some nigga shit, right? There's truth in everything. If the Lord gives you the vision to see it. And so, literally, the world belongs to the nation of Israel. You. And I had to tell my son this. I was inspired to tell my son this, one of my sons, to because I often focus on, surviving and enduring, and not getting comfortable, right? Trying to remain humble, and not big-headed as if I'm going, I know I'm the elect, I hope greatly that I am, but I be in fear of, ultimately just fighting with Satan, those demons, my mortal self, my flesh, and which is a great fight, a great battle. But from time to time, the Lord puts, gives you that extra comfort and gives you, spiritual breathing room and allows you to be comforted by the hope of being able to actually be delivered, be saved, not for just you, but your family, whoever the Lord puts on, whoever the Lord puts it on your spirit to believe that they have a chance, an opportunity, all right, at all as well. And one of my sons, he can see what I show him through the spirit, and the spirit hit me to to tell him, to remind him, like Mufasa told Simba. I showed him the map. He asked, matter of fact, he asked me, I think I was playing a game. He asked me, he said, what's this? And I told him it was a map. I tried to break down, which I didn't have a complete understanding that it was a map of the world, but in a different period of time. And I basically told him, like, that's yours. That everything, all of that land belongs to you, right? And what of course, what I meant was to him being one of the nation of Israel, Lord willing. All right. And so, you have to remember that. You have to hold on to that. All right. You have to claim that the world belongs to you and everything in it and more. I went into, I went into talking to my son, about, how we're going to, be allowed to basically, bully these heathen nations for 1,000 years. How they gonna build up our kingdom? How they gonna be terrified? How we gonna make them give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua forever, right? And how we're going to have so much fun with a number of things. One of those things being breeding, you know, breeding and mixing the different nations, you know, the different women of the different nations, or the different nations to breed, you know, women, beautiful women, to our liking, so, you know, and raise them up so that when they get to a marriageable age, a proper age, a lawful age rather, you know, we make them ours. All right. And so again, right, the world is yours and everything in it is out there. Get on your grind and get it. Right. As a man in the Lord, right, we are literally gonna have women too. We're gonna have what our hearts desire, all that we can ever want and need, right, in righteousness. And so the nigga, what's his name, Dave East, he said something in one of his raps. He said I want the world, you can have the block, you know. And so Scarface, right, from the movie, right, because that's where that quote is really like famous from, as far as I know. The world is yours, right? What he said, what you want? He said, I want the world and everything in it, right? But that was in wickedness, right? The world that he wanted was power and brutalship in this world of wickedness. You know, Jeezy, he was referring to, you know, this world of wickedness. All right. And so you know, there is no limit. There is no, except, you know, I mean, there will be boundaries, right? You're not going to just be able to invade. It's not going to be in our spirits to invade the privacy of another Hebrew Israelite. All right. But we're going to have more than we can ever ask for, ever wish for. All right. And so it's going to seem like there is no boundaries. There is no limit. All right. It's the limits. The things that are going to be able to be gained is going to be limitless. And so, you know, niggas fight over blocks, you know, hoods, right? Niggas will steal a car and claim it for theirs, claim it as, you know, and actually get into a shootout over stolen goods, right? These women been ran through by, you know, everybody, right? They say she for the streets, you know, and you know, niggas die over these women, all right? Go to jail, but it's not gonna be none of that in the kingdom of heaven. So let me grab these couple scriptures and I'm gonna close out. Bear with me, Baba Kashah. What was it? What I just was thinking. Salakia. Oh man. All right. First John chapter 2. First John chapter 2, verse 14. I have written unto you, fathers, because ye have known him that is from the beginning. I have written unto you, young men, because ye are strong, and the word of Yahweh abideth in you, and ye have overcome the wicked one. All right, the men of the Lord, all the 144,000, the prophets, the ruling class, the government body of the kingdom of heaven. All right, are all men. Right, fathers, strong men through the spirit and power of Yahweh shall not of themselves, and the word, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, which is the word of Yahweh, who the world everyone calls God, is within you. Right, the scriptures say the kingdom is within you. All right, and it begins with the names of the Lord, with the word. All right, and because of that, right, it says, and ye have overcome the wicked one. You already, if you are the of the Lord's elect, then you have already overcome the wicked one. All right, you already endured into the end. It just has to play out. You know, you've been chosen from the beginning, the foundations of the earth, before anything was before the earth was created. These are who we do these videos for. Those are who we do these videos for. All right. The elect is who the Lord is looking for, not all of the nation of Israel, not all of the nations of the earth. All right. 2/3 of our people just can't get it because it's not for them on this side. Verse 15, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. All right. And so, you know, if you have the spirit, if you have that spirit, like most of our people have on them in this world, on this planet, right? Because you have the word world in the Bible appears and it has 3 different types of meanings. You know, you have eon, which is a age, a period of time, right? You have oikomene, which is the actual whole world or planet, or inhabited, the inhabited earth, or the known world, right? Like Julius Caesar, you know, conquered the known world. The Roman Empire ruled the known world. And then you have cosmos, right? John 3:16. The word, the etymology of the word world there goes back to the word cosmos, which is like a world within a world, right? A general collection of particulars of any sort, which was the elect of the nation of Israel, the world of the Israelites that is within the planet. And so it says, love not the world, right? The elect have been commanded not to love the way, the fashions, the things that most people lust over in this planet, in this period of time. because it's all full of wickedness. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If you love this world, all right, you're going to be willing to sacrifice the truth to gain the things in this world. You're going to reject salvation. You're going to reject the mercy and grace that the Lord is extending unto the nation of Israel. All right. And you're going to be led to being chipped, being micro-seated, receiving that the mark of this beast-like system, and being made a permanent slave to Esau Edom's New World order system, which is going to be temporary, very temporary. It says, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. You know, and so these people love the world so much that they're willing to sacrifice their children, all right, sacrifice themselves for their children or who they claim to love, right? They'll delete you over the things that can be gained in this world. All right, they'll scam you, they'll rob you, right? For the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's why the Lord said, what? Use the world, but not abuse the world. So, right. So this is Psalms 37 and 1. A psalm of David. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Right? And this is what the elect is yearning for. You know, to be saved, to be beamed up, to dwell safely, to get home, you know, to make it back home. All right. You know, you ever go on a vacation, go on a road trip, you know, or you know, be out working all day, putting in overtime, or, you know, being in the world and you know, you may have been having a good time. You know, you may have been in danger, right? You may have almost went to jail, right? You may have, you know, you probably was running the streets for like 3 days. You know, you may have almost went to jail, probably, you know, got into a shootout, almost got in a car accident, you know, went to a couple parties, you know, a mix of enjoyable things and dangers, all right, and you know, you that feeling of making it home and just having that comfort, you know, that is not gonna be comparable to the feeling of making it onto one of those chariots. You know, making it, you know, actually being able to know that we're at the point where we're about to inherit, we're about to repossess the land that was given to us, given to our ancestors. All right, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so, right, it says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall be soon cut down like the grass. Again, we spend so much time just fighting and trying to stay separate, and trying to stay strong and not feeding into the lust of this world, all right? Not allowing our emotions to take over our trying not to, putting up the fight to not allow the emotions of our flesh to overpower our spirit. And we see what's going on in the world, and the temptation is great to the flesh, and we spend so much time putting up that fight that the Lord has to or has to put it in our spirits, all right? Whether the Lord just put it in our spirits, or we read in the scriptures and be reminded through reading, just how close we are to their time coming to an end and our time beginning. And wither as the green herb, trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed, right? Fed with comfort, right? Fed with space, all right? Just room to breathe, right? Delicious foods, all right? Fed, we're going to have servants that are going to be waiting for our orders, for our commands to do whatever we ask for, all right? To deliver whatever we request by them. It says, verse 4, it says, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. All right, based upon the kingdom of heaven, based upon righteousness, not based upon, this world. All right, because you can imagine, you can wrap your mind around the things that can be obtained in this world, and there's a limit. All right, and it's nowhere near to be compared to the riches of the kingdom of heaven. Money, clothes, cars, women, all right, as a man, building a family, right? You can acquire some land, all right, but there's limits, and eventually, you can get bored. With the things that are to be desired in this world. If you can have everlasting life, you'll get tired of living based upon the things that are to be gained in this world, but not in the kingdom. It says, commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Right? Stay committed, stay dedicated to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to doing the works, proving your faith, to enduring unto the end. All right? Trust that the Lord will make a way for you to escape the dangers of this world, the temptations, all right? The tribulations. It says, and he shall bring it to pass, right? What is it that he's going to bring to pass? The time where this age or rulership of wickedness will go away, all right? And everything with it, death, wars, fear of our enemies, fear of death, fear of getting sick, losing your loved ones, and the kingdom of heaven is going to come to pass. It says, and he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. And that's one of the things I pray for all the time, that the Lord draw out the best part of me, the righteousness that I truly believe the Lord has placed within my spirit. I beg that the Lord forgive me and look past my imperfections of the flesh and draw out, my sincere, whatever righteousness is within me sincerely, and make me that person perfectly. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light. That's what we with the elect, Lord will not be a part of that number, yearn for, earnestly desire with everything that makes us who we are, right? To be changed, to shed this flesh of wickedness, of sin, to morph, to get away from this like a butterfly, this form that's suffice, only for the time being, all right, but nothing to be compared to its final form. We can't wait to get the fuck out of these bodies, all right, and because what? So that you can be separate from wickedness, separate from struggling to serve the Lord perfectly, and thy judgment as the noonday. We can't wait to get past the torment of not knowing, whether we the elect or we not, hoping, we can't wait to shed these chains of this prison of hope, and just be free and just live within that hope, that which we hope for. And thy judgment as the noonday. We can't, the elect are hastening in a day. Can't wait for the day of the Lord's judgment to come, hoping that we be exempt from the Lord's judgment and worthy of salvation. Verse 7, rest in the Lord, right? So the brother said he was able to rest for 20 years, which he believes is symbolic, all right, for, just being able to have that level of comfort to for your mind to be at ease. You no longer have to fight. Everything from that point on will be smooth sailing. Your authority, your opportunity is no longer challenged. This game that I was playing, which I played games like that before, required for you to take over like different game territories, and you take over territories, but you always have to look over your shoulder, when you gain power in this world, but you always have to worry about that what you have worked to gain, you always have to worry about losing it. You know, someone challenging you, challenging your authority, you know, and looking to overthrow, you know, your rule, or let me think of an example. Right? You put in all you put a down payment on a car, right? And until you finish paying for it, even when you pay for it, right? Until you finish paying for it, you worry, you gotta keep up with those payments. If you don't, you gotta worry about repo coming to take your shit. Even when you finish paying for it, if you don't keep up with your registration, your insurance, you know, if you don't, if you're not careful, someone will steal your vehicle. All right, you can lose your license. You know, you could lose your you know, your registration could be expired. Your car could get towed if you don't have the money to pay fast enough. The charges keep going, piling up, and you know, some people they wind up having to pay surcharge fees because they could never they just give up on trying to get their car that they paid for out of the pound. Just a small example. I'm not the best freestyler, but you should get the point. It says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him, right? And so the Lord is building up our patience now. You know, we never know, right? The brothers say think that it was symbolic, but we don't know exactly how the Lord gonna have it play out. You know, because when salvation comes, there's still gonna be order. There's gonna be a high level of order, all right. And you know, I know me. The first thing I'm gonna want to do is put hands on these fucking heathens and 2/3 of our people. You know, get physical, right? Go to war. Me, I know that's what's in my spirit. Yeah, I wanna build and heal, you know, and rest, right? I want to just enjoy that freedom, but there's a great part of me that can't wait to get those spiritual powers so I could just get that payback, man. Not just for me, but for the Lord, for our nation, you know. But you know, the Lord, we're gonna have to take orders. We're gonna have full capabilities of having control over our emotions, our spirit, those spiritual powers that's going to be given to us. And we're not not going to be able to just do what we want to do. You know, if the Lord say we got to wait 20 years, you know, and let them heathens that's let the wicked that's being judged and destroyed on the earth, let them just be tormented with the fear of knowing what's going on, but not knowing, you know, exactly how things is going to play out. Seeing the elect be beamed up and just, you know, now you don't know, now you don't see them, you don't know when they coming back. You know, it's just all hell, and they probably start getting, you know, just meditating, not knowing exactly how it's going to play out. All right, the scriptures say, we know in part and we prophesy in part. You know, and so, you know, because that's some shit. You know, the survivors of the judgment of the Lord. All right, of the thermonuclear destruction. You know, they gonna be continuing to try to survive. You know, and if there's a period of time of waiting, right? Whether it's a year, 2 years, a couple months, all right. These heathens fuck around and start, you know, trying to fill themselves up with some type of hope. That's tormenting. You know, but anyways, we'll see. But the point is what? That we're gonna be able to rest. All right, we're gonna be able to rest our minds. All right, it says, and wait patiently for him. And so knowing what's coming is supposed to give us comfort. All right, and you know, help us to be at ease with this world's, even though we're surrounded by this world's wickedness. It says, fret not thyself, right? Fret is like don't panic. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, right? Because it could get to you if you're in the wrong spirit. You know, that's why the Lord said, wait ye upon me. But it's my determination to gather the nations. All right. Scripture say, vengeance is mine. If you lose patience, you know, you will find yourself committing a T attack. You know, and these devils, you know, they can't wait to demonize, you know, a Hebrew Israelite. What they can't wait to, you know, to put it, breaking news, black Hebrew Israelite does some type of T attack. But fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way. If you pay attention, if you paying attention, what they call pocket watching, if you watching what's going on in the world, right? It may piss you off, anger you, all right, or just tempt you, you know, anger you to the point where you go off, or tempt you to the point where you just lose patience and you go back in the world, all right, and you know, you back being a nigga or going to church and being an adulterer, whatever. It says, because of the men who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Esau, Edom, nation of so-called white man. That device, that ultimate device is that micro C hip, the MOTB. It says, verse 6, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Right? And so again, you have to keep control over your emotions. You have to be focused on the kingdom of heaven. All right. And understand that no matter how angry we get, no matter how violent we may be, or we may, no matter how violent or tough you may think you could, or whatever damage you think you could do, it ain't nothing compared to what the Lord will allow us to do if we wait patient. It's nothing we could do without the Lord. We can't even put a dent in what needs to be done without the Lord. And so what the scripture say, I forget. It say basically, don't worry how the evil will be punished, but how the righteous will be saved, roughly paraphrasing. All right, it's very helpful. All right, it helps you stay in the spirit. All right, because these niggas, the way this world is, man, is if you in the flesh, it's gonna get you. It's gonna get you. Verse 9 says, for evildoers shall be cut off. No matter how much damage we think we could do, we not gonna be able to do what the Lord wants to do, which is to exterminate the whole nation of Edom, nation of so-called white man. Eventually, after 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, it says, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yet thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Right? It's gonna come a point in time, like damn, remember them Edomites? Damn, or they're gonna be so humble. They're gonna be so in order. We're gonna have, because we're gonna rule, and it's like we're gonna have, it's like it's gonna be kingdoms within the kingdom. It's gonna be, because we're gonna have our own dwelling places, our own space, and we're gonna rule those spaces as kings, as royalty. And so it's gonna be our choice to actually go down to the plantation and look at our slaves. We're gonna have the so much power that if we don't want to see heathens, we don't have to see heathens. Or better yet, right? We could, we may have a order system to where, as though, I only want Hamites taking direct orders from me, right? And those Hamites, I want them to oversee the Elamites and the Edomites till I change up my order system, right? Or until I want to go down to my plantation, one of my plantations myself, because I just want to check on, these fucking Edomites. Whatever the case may be, just, having fun. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yet thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Right. America is no longer gonna exist. Or no one is gonna live here. It's gonna be turned into a desert. All right. The nation of the Edomites, they're going to be exterminated at some point in time. It's verse 11. But the meek, the humble, all right, the elect of the nation of Israel shall inherit the earth. All right, the meek representing all of Israel ultimately. All right, because all of Israel will ultimately inherit the kingdom through order. 2/3 is going to have to be deleted and be reborn, be reincarnated through the 1/3, through the elect. All right, but to be humble, to be meek is to be lowly. We in this world, we're at the bottom of the bottom. We're at the bottom of all nations. The nation of Israel is the ones who the kingdom of heaven is for, and only for the nation of Israel. It says, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. An abundance, so the world is yours and more. 2 Ezra 6:54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. All nations came from Adam, right? And the people also whom thou hast chosen. So that's what it's all about. Yeah, we all come from Adam, all right? But the kingdom of heaven is only for the nation of Israel. The Lord chose the nation of Israel as a special people unto himself. Again, the scriptures say what? If it be possible, be at peace with all men, especially those of the household of faith. Because what? The nation of Israel, beginning with the elect, are special, are set apart in the eyes of the Lord. It says, verse 55, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. The planet was created for the nation of Israel, not all nations of people. The Lord deals with a hierarchy, and the nation that he chose to be at the top of the totem pole is the nation of Israel. Verse 56, as for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them, a lot of them, right, unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. All right, so you could take a great portion, a sea of heathen heathen peoples, and the Lord said that ain't nothing compared to the nation of Israel. It's like a drop compared to a bucket, a mist of spit, of a tiny speck of spit, microscopic. All right, that's how small they are in counted in the eyes and minds of the Lord. Eye and mind of the Lord. It says, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. They have their time, all right? But they say what? Every dog has his day. And the day that this dog is going to have is fastly approaching. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? Because it's a set time where the Lord deals with order again. So he gave these heathens a time. All right, the Lord is a perfect and just power and judge, and so he didn't have to do things this way, but he chose to do things this way. And when it's all said and done, won't no nation be able to say that it wasn't fair. Y'all all had y'all time to rule, all right, but everything, the earth was created for us first and foremost. It's our right to possess the earth and everything in it. It says, how long shall this endure? And the answer is not long, man. All right. For salvation is nearer than when we believed. We're closer. We're closer than any prophet has ever seen in times past. And their faith in these days, in this time, in the kingdom of heaven being established was great. All right. And so our faith is supposed to be greater. Second Ezra 6 and 9 for Esau, matter of fact, 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Adam unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Verse 7 is what I wanted. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? So when is it all going? When is the end of the world going to separate the beginning of everlasting life or the kingdom of heaven? All right. You got to go back to the prophecies of Jacob and Esau to understand when this time is going to come. Verse 9 says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Everything, the nation of Israel gaining the knowledge of both good and evil consisted of us going through a period of time where the wicked, the evil, number one evil nation on the face of the earth, which was born out of the twin brother of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, all right, which his name was Esau, his name was changed to Edom, which birthed the nation of the Edomites, the nation of so-called white man today, the devil in the flesh. The nation of Israel will have to gain the knowledge of evil and wickedness by Esau, Edom nation, and so-called white man ruling the earth. After all these heathen, these heathen nations, these other heathen nations will have their time to rule. They will have the end of the rulership of all these heathen nations. All right, and so their time is up. All right, Babylon the Great, America is circling the drain as we speak. Every single hour, every single day that we breathe, all right, that we wake up, we're one step, all right, closer and closer. Lord willing, this be the year where it all goes down, man. At least Lord willing, this be the year where this devil will bring about his new world order system and force that chip on the earth. Because once that prophecy comes to pass, everything else is going to go like this. Let me go here. Right. Deuteronomy 28. The Lord told us. Right. Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, and we will perfectly do all that the Lord commanded us to do in times past and in the future. All right. Perfectly. Therefore, we will only reap the blessings. We will only receive the blessings and no longer have to suffer the curses because of the breaking of the laws, statutes, and commandments. It says that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. No matter where we go, we're going to be blessed, no matter what we're doing. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body. Our children are going to be born healthy, perfectly. All right. Never going to get sick. They're only going to grow and prosper and succeed. And the fruit of thy ground, whatever we grow, is going to be beautiful. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be healthy. All right. We're going to be able to eat fruits. These heathens, they're going to be able to eat what is grown, because the earth is just going to be replenished and rich. They're going to actually be able to eat a fruit, and it's actually going to be able to give them energy rather than take from their energy. It says, in the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thine kind, in the flocks of thy sheep, blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Whatever business we establish is going to be blessed. It's going to be prosperous, successful. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. All right. We're not going to go out. All right. If we go out, it's to travel. All right. But we're never going to have to worry about death anymore. Death is going to be defeated. It's not going to exist amongst the nation of Israel. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in. All right. When the 2/3 are born, they're going to be blessed from that point in time forward. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. We're not going to have enemies. Even they're not going to be able to challenge our authority at all. We're going to possess spiritual powers in what Esau wants to do, all right, in this world, which is basically have the ability to detect when you even thinking about committing a crime. We're going to possess that ability spiritually. All right. And these heathens going to know it. They're going to be in fear to think of any type of rebellion. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. And if they do, right, if they was to raise a hand, raise a finger, throw a rock, right, they're going to be made an example of, just like they did with us. You know, we're going to do all types of horrible, cruel, tormenting things unto them, just as an example of not to even think about doing what this God or this woman did or tried. And you can read the rest for yourself. I ain't want to make this long. This is Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. KJV. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in the earth, that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him, referring to who? Yahweh Shai. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. All right. And so it said what? Everything was created by him and for him. All right. And for him, because what? And that means you, all right, if you belong to the 12 tribes of Israel, because Yahweh Shai, all right, and everything being created for him was created for his nation as well. Him coming from the nation of Israel, the tribe of Judah. All right, and you know, the reason why we supposed to love our neighbors as ourselves is because we are one people, with Yahweh Shai being the head of the body of the men, women, and children of our nation. And so if you don't treat others of your nation how you want to be treated, you can't possibly say that you love yourself. You can't possibly say that you love the Lord, because if you care for yourself, you're not going to neglect not one part of your body. You're going to take care of all of it properly, inside and out. It says, and he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence. Right? Preeminence. What does that mean? The meaning of preeminence is the quality or state of preeminence, superiority. The fact of surpassing all others, superiority. All right, and so the nation is so-called white man, Esau, Edom, has been looking to his new world order is means of him trying to establish perfect, what they call white supremacy. All right, but the true white supremacy is going to be established through Yahweh Shai and the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, the scriptures refer to the elect being given white stones. All right, and garments made of white, which is spiritual for them receiving a perfectly clean slate. All right, perfectly clean bodies. All right, and spirits. All right, a perfectly clean earth and rulership, free from filth and sin. And so that's why Yahushua suffered the crucifixion, all right, to give the elect, give the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect, that clean slate. Give them that advantage. Everything that we're going to inherit in the kingdom of heaven is only because and begin with Yahushua Yahushua's selfless act of sacrifice. All right, that I recently watched with my daughters, trying to keep them calm. The movie Ben came out, and I'm not into like chick flicks or childish things, right? I have a number of children, and my daughters years ago, which is not my daughters that I recently watched the movie with. They been saw this movie Frozen. They I remember them singing the song Let It Go, right? I didn't watch it years ago when it came out. I wound up finally watching it recently, and again, there's truth in everything, right? And it was good, more so because of the things that I saw spiritually. And one of those things, the main thing was, I don't remember the girl's name. It was two sisters. One of them had powers, to freeze things or manipulate things with like cold weather. And she wound up, her sister didn't have any type of powers. She wound up, make a long story short, she wound up mistakenly striking her sister in the heart with her spiritual powers, with her powers of ice or cold, whatever you want to call it. And basically her heart started to freeze, and the cure was to a perfect act of love. And she thought that she was in love with a man who turned out to be wicked and was just trying to get her for her money, get her for a position of power, rulership, whatever. And she thought that, just like a lot of other princess fairy tales or fiction stories, she thought that the kiss was going to be the cure. Well, I thought it was at first, but come to find out that the perfect act of love was her sacrificing herself to keep her sister, who had the powers, alive, basically, And it was beautiful. It almost brought tears to my eyes. It was a tearjerker because of, what I know that means as far as the truth. And because Yahushua said what? There's no greater love, or if we paraphrasing, than a man laying his life down for his brethren, for his nation, for his people. And that's what Yahushua did. And through that selfless, perfect act of love, that gave the nation of Israel that preeminence, that superiority, that advantage, that power that these other nations could never be a part of, could never have, could never possess. So one more time, I want to read this in the NIV, I think. Right. Verse 18. And he is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning and the firstborn from among the dead, so that so he was crucified and he was resurrected. All right, he was the first one given the power to defeat death through that self-sacrifice. It says, so that in everything he might have the supremacy. That was it on that. Matthew 25:31. It says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Because Yahushua is returning with the same way he left, except for he's coming with legions of angels. All right, the chariots and the angels travel, all right, with the chariots of God. All right, the so-called UFOs, UAPs. All right, those are the vehicles in which the angels travel in, the transportation of salvation. The only way to be safe from the judgment of the Lord. All right, if you don't get beamed up, you're not a part of the elect. It says, and before him shall be gathered all nations. Why? Because not because all nations can be saved or delivered. No, because Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, and their seed has been intermingled with these heathen nations. So you may have an Israelite that may appear to be a Hamite, that may appear to be a Moabite, so-called Chinese man, that may appear to be an Ishmaelite, so-called Arabic man, all right, so forth and so on, Edomite. But they're going to be separate. The elect, no matter where they're scattered, most of the elect is going to be beamed up from, saved or delivered from America, Babylon the Great. This is the main place of salvation. But Israel is going to be gathered from the four corners of the earth and separated from all the other nations. It says, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. The goats is the wicked of the nation of Israel. All right, those that the Lord is not going to save and deliver in these last days. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Right, 2/3 of our people are going to be left behind. All right, and the elect are going to be gathered with Yahushua, who's on the Heavenly Father's right hand side, right? His right hand man. It says, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. This is Matthew chapter 6:19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasure upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Right? And so this is where you should set. This is what elect has to set their mind to. This is where the Lord wants you as a believing Hebrew Israelite, man, woman, or child, all right, to set your mind at. Be kingdom minded. you know, instead of chasing a bag and, you know, trying to get rich in this world, which is limited, all right, and temporary. Stay kingdom minded and do all you can to keep the Lord pleased, all right, and by each and every last righteous act rehearsed, all right, before salvation, you're putting money in your spiritual bank account. You know, you just, and you can only begin to imagine what the Lord, right, will gift you, will reward you with, if you stay faithful. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, right? And so if your mind is steadily set on what's to come, where your reward or your gift, your blessings is going to come from, then your mind is always, your mind and your spirit is already there in the kingdom. Again, you just have to wait for it to manifest through the flesh, or wait for reality to catch up, in better words. What was it I wanted? I forgot. It slipped my mind. John chapter 14:1 says, Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in Yahweh, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Right? Yeah, it's about the nation of Israel as a whole, as a collective, but you are the only person in your body and walking in your 10 toes, right? And so you have to, you have to be selfless ultimately, but a part of you also has to be selfish, and claim the kingdom for yourself first, because we can't save. It's not guaranteed that we can't save ourselves. We damn sure can't save no one else. And if we can, it's only through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah. It's only through enduring unto the end. It's only through rehearsing the righteous acts. It's only through proving our faith through these works. Right? But nevertheless, if you are part of the Lord's elect, if you endure, if you don't receive the micro seed, then you have a good chance of the place where your house shall left to prepare, which is the kingdom of heaven. A part of that, a great portion of what is being prepared is especially for you, especially and specifically for you, like the brother Ra'al said in his testimony. Right, he was beamed up, and he had a space that was just for him, a chamber that was just for him, and it was from what he shared, it was more than enough. He almost couldn't believe it, and just like the other brother in Atlanta, right, that woman, right, she picked him out. She was for him, and that's just that's just a taste. That's just the beginning of everything that is specifically and especially for you as an individual come a part of the inheritance of all the 12 tribes of Israel. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. So again, if you stay kingdom minded, all right, remember that the world is yours, then you already have what is going to be given unto you. Is being prepared, is prepared already. All right. All you got to do is get it. It only has to be given unto you. One more time in the NIV, I think NLT. Let me see. John 14:1 in the NLT. Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in Yahweh and trust also in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's home, right? And those mentions is the different planets, all right, identified by the prophets of the Lord through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemel Shai, all right, and those planets are where? Out of space, where there's nothing but space and time to explore and expand. There's more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am, in everlasting peace. All right, the kingdom of heaven, all right, which will be established here on earth. First Corinthians 2:9, but as it is written, I have not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart, meaning your mind, of men, the things which Yahweh hath prepared for them that love him. All right. And it says, as is written, right? Isaiah 64:4, for since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither have the eye seen, O Yahweh, beside thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. So if you love the Lord, all right, then you're going to be patient. You're going to continue to wait, all right? The scriptures say what? If you love me, feed my sheep. If you love me, keep my commandments. All right. While you're waiting, we're supposed to rehearse the righteous acts. We're supposed to prove our faith through works. All right. And it helps. Again, like brothers say all the time, a video a day, keep the demons away. You know, staying occupied in the works and this true studying, praying, fasting, being brotherly, you know, doing, you know, using your time, your energy, and your imagination to constantly keep the Lord pleased, to stay active, to stay occupied. All right. It helps the time go by. It helps take away the burden of what everybody else is involved in the world. All right. It you know, they say the best job is the one that you love, or the best jobs to have is the one that you love, because it don't feel like you working, you know. So this truth is supposed to be our job, our hobby, our life. You know, you don't want to burn yourself out. You know, you won't be righteous, but so you learn to apply balance. All right, and allow the Lord to guide you in everything that you're doing. But you know, the ultimate goal is to stay in the spirit, stay in the spirit, stay in tune and in sync with Yahweh Shemel Shai. 1 John chapter 2 and 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of this world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. Slacky. Isaiah 45 and 16. They shall be ashamed and also confounded. All of them, they shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. Right? These heathen nations are going into they're going to the bottom. They're going to the bottom. Trading places is about to take place. They're about to go through everything that we're going through and we've been going through while being ruled over by our enemies in righteousness. All right. They're about to suffer. All right. And part of that suffering is to be confused, to be lost and not have an understanding of why they're suffering so much. All right. Because, we're not going to what we were our right to read, our right to communicate, our right to assemble, was taken away from us. We were deliberately and forcefully put in a state of confusion, and so these heathens are going to have to suffer the same thing. And then what? You're going to have generations. All right. That first round of heathens in the kingdom, cleaning and building things up, they're going to die off. All right. And so eventually you're going to have a generation of heathens that's not going to be able to fully comprehend why they're suffering so much. All right. And the more we get to that 1,000 years, the more they're going to be in confusion, the more they're going to suffer. Those generations, those heathen nations, they're going to have to suffer of, hearing bits and pieces of the truth. All right. And, not knowing what to believe. They're going to have no choice but to believe it, because they're going to be going through it, but they're going to want to believe in something different. They're going to want to keep hope alive that maybe a miracle may happen and they will no longer have to suffer the way that they will. It says they shall go to confusion. They're going to go into slavery together that are makers of idols. The gods of all these heathen nations are idols. They're handmade statues and images. All right. Made to be worshipped as gods. And the Lord hates that, beginning with all of the sins. It says, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Yeah. It says, ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, Yahweh himself that formed the earth and made it, through Yahushua and the elect, the 144,000 spirits, he have established it. He created it not in vain. If again, these heathen nations were created in vain, so to speak. All right, they were only created to be ruled over by the nation of Israel. All right, the earth was not created for them. All right. So it says he created it not in vain. That's how you know that he didn't create it for them. Created for these heathen nations. It says he formed it to be inhabited. Right. So the end of the end of the world is not the whole planet blowing up by some type of asteroid. Right. The end of the world is the end of the rulership of all these heathen nations, beginning with Esau. I am the Lord, and there is none else. All these heathen nations are going to know that. You're not going to have any gods being worshipped once we get back the position of power that belongs to us. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. Right? The Lord then don't got us putting in these works, don't got us reading and praying and fasting and calling on Yahweh Shah for no reason. It's because what? The Lord is going to establish the kingdom of heaven. He's everlasting everlasting rulership. All right, immortality, everlasting immortality. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. That's it on that. So that's it. Salakia dragged out. I like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful